Hi everyone, today in the new episode we will be talking about the defense and the exact moment of diving, rolling or pancaking. We will talk right now about the common issues and the pain areas that players experience through diving and defensive movements, and which also prevents you in the future to try to dive for this ball because subconsciously you know how painful it was. So then a lot of players would just stop instead of fully dedicating and going for the ball. We will talk about the issues with the rotation of the shoulders and how this directs the ball through the diving, and also we will offer you solutions how to try to fix the outcome of your pass. The first part, what we will talk about the body position prior to the movement and digging the ball, because one of the most common mistakes what I see when players approach the ball staying fairly high, that's why the distance between the body and typically the brain and the floor is very large. So we are scared to play this ball. That's why players before touching the ball will be trying to catch and save themselves rather than being focused on passing the ball. That's why one of the major things that I want to encourage players to do is within this proximity step towards the ball, my position of the body should already stay lower to the ground. That's why I already will feel more comfortable playing this ball instead of thinking, and again, don't tell anyone, but it's a joke. It's not like a bag of potatoes when you're falling and just hitting the floor, because right now we have a mat. When we will not have a mat, it's going to be a little bit more painful and less pleasant, let's say. So right now I will show you with this first step, the proximity to the floor is fairly low. That's why I'm already feeling more comfortable. So here I want you to notice the position of my left knee, so then I can push it a little bit more to the side. So when I'm creating the inertia and momentum forward to the ball, it's already having a more natural approach and dive. One of the biggest issues that I see is when players, before they pass the ball, they put the knee down into the ground, and then that's how we also have a very major stopping point for our pass. Here I want you to add in your comments if you are a knee pad kid or a shin pad, because I see a lot the new tendency that players stop putting the knee pads on their knees and keeping them lower. That's why all of those type of positions and digging will cause big bruising and potential future issues with the knee. So after we made a very large opening lunge to the side, I want you to land more on the external part of your hip rather than on your knee. So we are gonna go here and we'll just try to extend and go far off, and we'll try to make it as smooth as possible. Movement, push, and landing. So again, if you will notice and if you will see it in a slow-mo when I'm making this step, there is nothing that hits the ground until I'm actually pushing myself off. Okay, so despite us focusing on then being open and playing within your knees instead of having a knee and then a platform outside of the body, when I am creating this movement, my shoulders are dropping within the pendulum movement here instead of the opening, let's say as a baseball movement. So moving here inside is going to be a pass or one arm touch, but the chest is going to be opened when I'm touching the ball. If we are speaking about the progression from here, I personally played and I do encourage players to roll after that type of a dive, because then we can stand up and continue our participation on a team setting instead of just diving and staying on the ground. So the next progression that we can encourage kids to do is that after the step and a push, we can roll our legs all the way up through. So let's break it down a little bit slower. When I'm making the low lunge to my left, and I have here some sort of a support arm when I'm reaching to the ball, when I am turning, I need to use the inertia, and my right leg should be going towards my right shoulder. So I'm creating this, and the left goes over, and I'm standing up. So if I will show it a little faster, it's gonna look this, boom, and then a movement through. So then the player will be able to stand up and move to the ball a little bit faster. For younger players, we can also say that maybe that type of a roll is a little bit too complicated, so you can encourage them to do a little roll here. And they will just stand up and will go all the way up. Same idea here, low, push, and then I just rotate and stand up. Another side for the defensive players, we're trying to expand our surface coverage. That's why sometimes the ball is flying so fast that I will not be able to get to the ball with my two arms. So we will be encouraging the players to use like a paddle, one arm finishing further outside of the body, touching the ball and playing it as neutral in the middle of the court as possible. That's why when we are moving, same idea, we'll try to expand the surface coverage by a very large lunge and then reaching to the ball, touching, and also like creating a spin or like a dive after the touch. So the next part of this session, we will show you how to play the ball outside of the body, and I will show you the most common mistake when people turn their shoulders following the ball instead of dropping the shoulder under and creating the angle. So we will receive a ball. I will pretend that I'm playing in zone 6. The ball will be flying between 5 and 6, and the first ball I will show you as common mistake as close to it as possible, and then you will see the angle of the bounce, and then we will try to correct it. Okay, so the ball moved, I finished, and then I turn. So if you see that my hips and my shoulders are facing this way and the ball doesn't have any type of an angle, returning the ball back. Movement, spin, I turn. And on another note, one of the common things is that as soon as the ball is going anywhere to my left side of the court, I want to prevent the crossing point with my opposite leg, because now I'm facing to the out instead of like curving the ball all the way internally to my setter. So let's see the common mistake. Ball is coming, I'm reaching, and that's what's going to happen. If you see something like this happening within your game, I would like you to focus on the proper footwork where your hips will be always seeing and the hitter and the targeted area for your setter. So let's try to fix those balls. Angle, movement, close. So after the pass, you can check that I planted a knee, my hips are rotated forward, and my shoulder is dropped, where we talk that the eyes on your knuckles will be facing towards the setter. When you will be watching my defensive movements, you can also notice that when I'm diving, my roll back doesn't happen too close, because I have enough inertia and enough like power that I'm almost tilting my legs all the way back. It all depends on the abilities of each player. So your job is to find something that will kind of like absorb the power when you are hitting the floor, and then it gets as smooth as possible. But again, if you will observe, I no longer have any knee pads on me, and there's not enough even marks to show that I'm touching the floor with my kneecaps or anywhere close to my shins, meaning I'm absorbing all my power of like landing through my hips or through the momentum when I'm turning. And a little addition to today's like little learning curve will be the pancake and when do we pull it. So technically there are gonna be a lot of balls that you will not be able to reach through diving, because this is more a lateral coverage of the court. If I will be working with a frontal movement, I might just extend my body, trying to put my hand between the floor and the ball and let the ball bounce from my hand. We will show you the little progression, how we teach our players to get comfortable with that extension. So the first progression, we will stay on the knees. You can use the knee pads. If you don't have mats, it's totally okay. The first movement will be, we'll kind of almost like hang out on our stomach, keeping our elbows here. We'll just get comfortable finding the ball with our arm and let the ball bounce. Key element, make sure when you are pancaking, there is no gap between the hand and the floor. Otherwise, the hand will absorb the power of the ball and it's no longer going to be jumping. I will show you how not to do it. So the first part, we will show the gap between the hand and the floor, and you will see how the ball bounces. See, as soon as you have the clapping sound, it means by the time I touch the ball, the hand went down with the weight of the ball. And if you will notice, if Dennis will just toss us the ball, go ahead. So this is technically how the ball should bounce from your hand, because the hand will substitute just kind of the same as the floor. So let's see. Hey. And last one. Hey. So as soon as the players get comfortable finding the ball, and you can challenge each other, tossing the ball a little bit left, right, short, or deep, so they can find and slightly calculate the angle of the bounce. Then we will move all the way back, and then we will stay high on our hips. Same idea as a defensive position. We will keep the hips more back, because I'm going to be in my ready position to extend and to push forward. Hi. Shouldn't be making the sound, sorry. Hey. As soon as we've done a couple of reps, making comfortable, reaching and extending, I also want to encourage the players to understand that at the back, my feet are a little bit more engaged. So then when I'm extending, I'm more pushing instead of just naturally just dropping. So you want to create the movement when you're going to be extending and pushing all the way forward to cover an extra distance. We stay in our lower position. We will make a big lunge. Same idea, we'll get lower to the ground and then I will push, trying to cover the distance. Step, movement, ball. Hey! Covered even further than I expected. Ball, step, movement, step. Last one. It's okay. Step, move. So then we'll try to show you eliminating the mat and making the full kind of commitment. Watch when I'm making a step, somewhere here. I have a stopping arm, then also extends me to push because I need to observe the collision with the floor. One of the common mistakes, trying not to lock your elbow because you can dislocate your shoulder. So we are absorbing and making it as smooth as possible. Movement, low to the ball. Hey! After sharing with you the pancake, the external movement for the rotation and diving, I also want to show you that there's another option. There is a dolphin dive that the majority of males are using throughout their game. I personally don't dive like this, but you will see Coach Dennis showing us the proper biomechanics for diving the ball with a dive of a fish. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Let me know if your game improved after you used our little tools. Don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, and I see you next time.